Welcome, and God bless you. This is the day the Lord has made, and let us rejoice and be glad in it. And look how beautiful it is. Even though it's cloudy outside, it doesn't matter. Everything looks so beautiful. God made it, and it is good. And my name is Luis Salvira, and I'm here to give you a good word for a good day. And today we're going to be looking at the book of Exodus. And the backstory on this is the Israelites were freed from slavery from the Egyptians. So they're marching in the desert, and according to some scholars, they were marching in the desert. We're talking millions of people and their families, their livestock, some property, food. They were trucking through the desert for about 18 days. And then they were camped out by the Red Sea. And this is where we're going to take it. It's Exodus chapter 14, verse 10. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there was no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die here in the desert." So they're desperate. They're desperate. But Moses answers the people, and he says, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. So raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." So God was going to use something that was bad, something that was evil, to show his glory. He was going to combat evil. He was going to combat the enemy to show that he is God and he is powerful. So we're going to go ahead to verse 21. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. Now, is that amazing? Because you know the bottom of the sea is muddy and wet and you can't walk in it. But he made it dry. Only God could do that. So the waters were divided. The Israelites went through the sea on dry land with the wall of water on the right and on the left. So they're walking through the Red Sea floor, dry, not wet, not muddy, dry. Would you imagine watching on one side, on the left side, and on the right side, the waters, and they're not falling on you? That is God. That is the power of God. That's all I can say. So the Egyptians pursued, and the pharaohs and horses and chariots and followed them into the sea. Then we'll go down to verse 26. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." And that's what happened. He stretched out his hand. The seas came over the enemy and defeated them. And the good word for today is God is with you. Okay? Are you at that moment, that Red Sea moment where your back is against the wall? Where you don't know what's going to happen and you're crying out to God? And God is telling you, stand firm, be still, stand still, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord. Maybe there's fear in your life, worry, anxiety, uncertainty in this time. hopelessness, desperation. Maybe you're going through an illness and the doctors say no more. Stand firm. Stand still. Maybe you don't know where your next check is going to come and how you're going to put food on the table. Or do you put food on the table or do you pay the mortgage? I mean, there's so much going on right now in this world that there is uncertainty, there is hopelessness, there is desperation. But in God, there is hope. In God, if there's hopelessness, He is our hope. If there's desperation, He will give you peace. Peace, be still, Jesus said to the waves in the Sea of Galilee when they were coming. Peace, be still. They were coming, the storm was coming. He said, peace, be still. Is there a storm in your life today? Doesn't matter what it is. Is there a storm in your life? You know what that storm is. You know what that desperation is. You know what that hopelessness is. You know why you have that anxiety and that fear and that worry. You know it. But Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary and laden, I will give you rest. Run into Jesus today, and He will give you that peace. If you're at that Red Sea moment, allow God to open up the Red Sea, cross through it to the other side, and you will see victory in Jesus. God bless you. Take care. Until next time, this is Luis Alvira. A good word for a good day.